All right, now it's time for our next session, a keynote session by Mr. Brish Bhan Vaidya, Head of APAC Strategic Sourcing and Global Buying Center, Uber. Let me give a small brief about sir. As a strategic global procurement leader, he possesses deep expertise in developing and executing procurement strategies that are clearly aligned with organizational objectives, promote innovation, and generate supplier-driven value. He has a demonstrated track record of successfully leading procurement transformation and digitalization initiatives, while consistently driving operational excellence and achieving sustainable cost optimization. The topic will be ethical and responsible procurement, fostering trust and transparency in sourcing. With this, let's give a huge round of applause to Mr. Brish Bhan Vaidya. Everyone, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me well, right? Great, so this is the last session of the day, and I think it will take around 20 odd minutes, so I'll not kind of feel you bored. What I'm going to discuss is not something new. It's the foundation on which everything that you have been hearing since morning is all set. Just that it's more of a refresher of, what are the guidelines, what are the principles under which we are supposed to do our work, under which, the systems or technologies are designed. We'll talk about how sometimes they get bypassed, right? And why it is important. So broadly, it's about, the topic called ethical sourcing and ethics. I'm sure all of you know ethics is all about principles, rules, guidelines, which help us, divide between what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is written and supposed to be done, where is it that we have kind of, done something wrong. So it's all about that. And I just realized it's not 20 minutes for me, it's 15 minutes, so I'll try to do that in 15 minutes. I just want to take a couple of examples so that you can relate it to, the topic as such. A couple of quiz questions, I would say. Anyone who is a vegan here, not vegetarian, who's a vegan here? Anyone? You are a vegan, Shelly? And what was the reason for you to become a vegan? Some allergies, I hope no? Cruelty to animals, right? So she's talking about something which is not good for some human beings, right? And she wants to become responsible, so she's already doing something. Anyone who's using a vegan leather wallet or a handbag or a purse, I'm sure a lot of females, buy them nowadays. Anyone? Or you are the ones for sure? No one else? Again, that's another responsibility, that Shelley is showing. How many of you have experienced the grocery delivery apps who are talking about farm to table? Are you the only one? No, I'm sure there are others, right? You are there, right? And any reason why you are buying them? Why you are preferring farm to table? Great, thanks. I mean, definitely one of the selling point is that, these are at lower cost because we are buying them directly, but what you mentioned is that you connect yourself to the environment and you show some responsibility. Why this shift is happening, so we'll be talking about that. So broadly, these are the topics that we'll be covering. So first, what is ethical sourcing? Again, I will not go by the definition, I will not talk much about it. It's as simple as that whatever has been written, is that being followed, right? And when we talk about what has been written, there are rules which are written as a part of the sourcing and procurement policy that whatever you are doing, you have to do it in an ethical manner, right? Which means whenever you are taking a quotation from a supplier, make sure that you follow the code of conduct, of the company. You should not get into any practices wherein you get some benefit out of the supplier. These are written rules, right? Are we following that? If not, definitely we are not doing something right. Nowadays, people have been talking a lot about the ESG and the sustainability principles also as a part of our sourcing, whether we are writing down our scope of work document or requirement document, or we are looking at a supplier. A lot of companies have added these as part of their evaluation questionnaire that if you have a ESG score of this, definitely you will get a benefit. Or you ask them, do you follow ESG principles? You ask questions about child labor, you ask questions about fair wages, you ask questions about where do you source your material from. The moment you are talking about all these things, you are actually touching the ethical sourcing. It's not a new thing. As I said, this is more of a refresher session also. These are not new things. Just that, they have picked up big time in last couple of years. Reasons are multiple. One, definitely, post-COVID things got changed. Supply chain got kind of, fully exposed to the businesses, and that's where their trust on sourcing, procurement, supply chain improved. Because then they realized, oh, this is the type of value these people add, right? And a lot of examples came in. When something was not moving, it came to procurement, and when procurement solved it, oh great, we never knew that you guys actually can solve the problems, right? They were doing it earlier also, but now the evolution is slightly different. Sustainability has come up because we are hearing those things in our society, right? If I have to take a couple of examples, or I actually took a couple of examples on vegan products, we are hearing it from the new generation of people also, wherein they actually want to buy products which does not have cruelty. They have turned vegan. They are looking at, okay, who are the underprivileged people who are actually building those products. So they are also showing responsibility, and that is what we are doing in our sourcing and procurement world also, wherein these are now becoming the qualifiers for us. So stakeholders are definitely asking. When I say stakeholders, I'm talking about not just the internal stakeholders, I'm talking about the investors also. I'm sure a lot of you, or maybe all of you, would be aware that in India there is a regulation wherein beyond a certain revenue or the size of the company, you actually get tax credits if you spend some money on CSR or you have a good ESG score. And this is what is happening globally also, right? If you follow certain things, you get more investment, you get tax benefits, because everyone is now talking about ESG, sustainable, and ethical sourcing. So the benefits are very simple. I have covered them, but just to categorize, one, definitely it wins a lot of stakeholder trust. Again, when I say stakeholder, internal stakeholder as well as your investors. For example, if I have to talk about my company, there is a clear directive that by 2040, our company, so I'm part of Uber, those who are not aware, though it was mentioned, I've been with Uber for 9 years now, sorry about that. I was actually looking at the counter, it just changed, so excuse me. I was like, how come the time got increased? And that's how year became minute, right? Thanks for that. So for us, the organization-wide directive is by 2040, all our products or all our services or our company has to be 100% carbon neutral. In fact, we should become positive on our influence on the society. So it's a global mandate which has come to the company. So by default, it has come to us also. There is nothing like a written thing that came to us saying, okay, procurement or sourcing have to do this. As an individual or as a department, we picked up where is it that we can influence, and that's where we started studying what is it that we do and can be done in a better way to become ethical, to serve for ESG. So we started with searching, for example, packaging product, because we run delivery business also in a lot of countries. One thing very common for us was, let's go for sustainable packaging, and that's add to the value. So we were doing our part as a part of procurement, but it was impacting the overall mandate of the company. So if I talk about certain other things that we have been doing in India, and you can relate it. So drivers, they are the ones who are actually running our business. From consumer side, I'm sure you guys would have your own complaints. I do have complaints on my side also, right? So that's the truth of the business, that you can't have everything right. But what we try to do from our side for drivers many times is that we make things affordable for them, right? If I talk about a few years back, what we did as a part of sourcing, we just came with this idea that what is it that the drivers actually spend money on, or what is it that they don't get benefit out of, right? Can we help there? So one, we figured out, and that may not be fully related to it, but we figured out that drivers' kids, they don't get good education, right? Because no one reaches out to them. If they go to bank for a bank loan, no one gives bank loan to them because they don't have a CIBIL score, right? Because there is no history of transaction they have. They have cash in hand, right? But no bank account, so who will give it to them? So we came up with these ideas from our department, sourcing and procurement, that we have to influence the life of those. So we tied up with one of the edtech companies, and we told them, guys, can you make solutions or your offerings available to the kids of driver? And what we can commit to you is the volume, right? Today you might find tough to acquire 500 customers. We can give you access to maybe 2 lakh drivers' kids in maybe 2 weeks' time, right? but you have to give us like 80, 90, or maybe 99% kind of discount, right, for those people. So it was not for us to make money. We did not transact anything on our platform, but we made it affordable to the drivers. We kind of tied up with fintech companies who actually were giving loans to the gig workers. That was the first time in the country, the gig workers started getting the loans and all. Now you might think what procurement was doing here. I mean, these were some of the ideas that we came up with, and we solved for it. So this is how we kind of influence, right? We are actually helping in upbringing, the society. The same thing that we are doing is with our suppliers also. We spoke about supplier relationship management, supplier as a partner. How many times we actually treat our suppliers as partners, understand their problem, and help solving them. We, I would say, have done few cases, not many to be honest, wherein we knew that we are a tech company, our tech stack is much better, our tech capability is much better. Suppliers don't have it, right? So we were expecting their solutions to become better, but then they did not have the tech stack. We said, can we kind of get into a collaboration mode wherein we give you the tech capability and you offer your solution or services to us at a price which no one can think of, right? We are not going to hold any, IP on that or right on that. You go and sell that product outside. After that, you can kind of, acquire new customers. There are a lot of examples like that. I will not kind of name that, but I can, surely one-on-one I can tell you, at least 5 to 6 such solutions that you see in the market today, which you might be using. Companies like us or others, they kind of got into those collaboration wherein we shared the capabilities. We became kind of, responsible to develop our, ecosystem also, or the partner ecosystem, and we made it work for them. So this is what we do. If we talk about further benefits of ethical supply chain, it talks about transparency, and that's where the blockchain kind of a technology is really helping, how the complete transaction has happened. One of the examples, supply chain folks, I'm sure will kind of understand well, that today you have 100% transparency on your routes. Where is the material coming from? Where is it today? When will it get delivered? You have full visibility into that. If you look at a new concept that has come in the procurement space, is something called procurement orchestration tool. Those who are not aware of orchestration, because again it's a relatively new thing, it actually gives you the full visibility of a commercial transaction that is happening in the organization. For example, someone came to you with a requirement. There is a person who's working on a contract. There is a requisition which is being raised. There is a supplier being created. Everyone is kind of working in their own function, right? Orchestration tools actually keeps a track of that and tell you that this is where the problem is, or this is where the delay is happening, or this is the dependency. So the whole concept of orchestration tool is to solve this. They are coming up to kill, I would say, the blockages and create more transparency and reduce your efficiency, timelines, and improve efficiency. So this is what orchestration tools are doing, right? So that's another benefit, and when all these things happen, you naturally see a cost saving coming because your transactions are faster, you need lesser humans. AI tools, again, a lot of you are aware of it, must be using also. AI definitely is bringing a lot of transparency and efficiency in the system. People spoke about e-sourcing also in the previous session. What was the purpose of e-sourcing? It was not just to bring, I would say, the timeline to a shorter one. It was all about creating the transparency. That's how public procurement became such a big, customer base for any e-procurement company. So they were never going to any government saying you can actually reduce the timeline. They were always selling transparency to them because there was a mandate few years back from the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, to some of the public sector companies and banks in India saying, if you want funds from us, show us the transparency in your sourcing process, because that was like a, I would say bad type of industry wherein it was told that there's no process, they actually do a lot of corruption and all, so their funds stopped, and I'm talking about around 15 to 18 years back. That's where sourcing practices were kind of created to help those. Other benefit definitely is around, you get more investment. As I said, your corporate reports or balance sheets and all, they now have details about how much you are spending on the social responsibility or CSR funds and all, right? So this is how you get some benefits and all. In last, as I said, customers or consumers have become very, very responsible. Their demands have changed. Shelly mentioned about being vegan or buying a product. This is a trend now, right? Especially the new gen people, their demands are very different. They really want products which are actually helping someone in the society, which doesn't have any cruelty to animals, which has not gone through any kind of, I would say, issues. And also those are the things which are now coming up, and that's where sourcing or ethical sourcing is becoming so important, that you have to change your processes, or you have to kind of change your systems and all. I'll talk about 3 or 4 case studies. Will not spend more than 2 minutes. I'm sure all these brands are known to you, but just an example, Patagonia, based out of US, is known for sustainable products, right? Their jacket might be costing anywhere between 12,000 to 20,000, I would say, the starting range also. And it's one of the highest selling. It's one of the highest selling. People are paying for it because they know it's a sustainable product. Their standards are such that they will never have a child labor in it. The product that they are using is either plant-based or it doesn't have any animal, right? Animal skin in it, right? So people actually go for such brands. Talk about Fab India in India, right? Why the product gets sold? It's not just because they are kind of good and they have fancy showrooms. One of the reason for that is that they're actually helping the local artisans to kind of manufacture it. They ensure that all sort of regulations are being followed in terms of again, child labor, modern slavery, fair wages, nice working place. So these are some of the factors why these companies are slightly more successful than other brands. Unilever, again, they have very, very good transparent supply chain. Same goes with Tata products also, especially in the tea business. They actually work with certain, I would say, tea farms only, which actually follow certain guidelines, right? So all these are linked to, again, some of the practices around community, practices around humans, practices around transparency. It's very simple, I would say, to deploy or improve your ethical sourcing process. As I said, all these rules are written. We all are aware of it, but are we practicing? When I say we, I'm not just talking about procurement. This is for organization. But let's be specific about within sourcing, do we really follow, right, all the approaches which are written? Maybe not, right, always. So first thing is, like, whatever we are designing, it has to be based on ethics. Whatever principles have been laid out, we have to make them as a part of our sourcing and supply chain. For example, if you are putting a ESG score as a mandate in your questionnaire for supplier selection, and if you are following that, keep the price aside, I can tell you, you're doing great, right? If you are ensuring that you are evaluating the supply chain of your suppliers for child labor and all, you're solving for it. I can give this example that in Australia, there is a law that you have to follow modern slavery practices if your revenues are more than $100 million. So we actually qualify for that in Australia. For last 3 years, we have been evaluating every single vendor. We are putting this clause in our agreement also. At any point in time, we get to know that you actually violated the modern slavery regulation, which is all about fair wages, child labor, working conditions, definitely will get blacklisted. And I can tell you, we really found issues with some of the global majors. Fortune 100 companies also, they were not complying to this when it came to Australia, right? Because US law is different, Australia is different, UK is different. That's where we started challenging them. If you really want to work with us, you have to ensure that you actually follow these practices. And how it typically works is that, and you'll be surprised in case you have not got exposure to that, there are certain countries, including India, which fall under high risk. If your factory is in India and you are supplying to an Australian company, sorry, you are at a high risk. You have to prove that you don't have child labor. And let's be honest, right? We do see child labor working in restaurants, construction sites. Facility management is again one of the category or the commodity which is a high risk, because it is observed that in countries like India, Vietnam, Bangladesh, China, there is a huge child labor. For Australia, for UK, for a couple of European countries, we are actually in the high risk zone, and we have to prove that yes, we are tracking these things, we ensure that these things don't happen, and we take kind of liability in case you find. In fact, for our businesses in a lot of these countries wherein we kind of tie up with largest of the brands. For example, we work with Yum Foods, someone was there from KFC here, or we work with McDonald's for their delivery, right? These questions come to us also. Uber has to prove that they treat their drivers, earners, and all well, right? Definitely you might have a different opinion, but yes, we do, right? Yes, there are a lot of those things which are put on us also. Make sure that if you really want to work with us, you have to follow these practices. We also do this. So we work very closely with the ethics and compliance team on this. So it's all about, following the policies, creating an ecosystem, and ensuring that we use the right set of, technology also to track. There are a lot of technologies that have come for ESG, tools like Refinitiv or, others, they are there. EcoVadis is another tool which is a vastly used tool, right, which actually gives you your ESG scores and all, and these are now becoming mandates for supplier selection also. I'm sure there would be certain folks here who actually ask for ESG scores, and that becomes like a parameter for selection of supplier also, right? So there are enough technologies to support. Again, these are some of the best practices. I mentioned about it earlier, right? You have to ensure that you have the right SRM program in place. Audits should happen. You should have clear, guidelines laid down to the suppliers also. If there is something wrong happening in your organization, you have to give a compliance helpline or a hotline to the suppliers also to report. All these things are written in our purchase order terms and conditions or contract terms and conditions. What you need to do is to ensure that these things exist in real than just on the document. And all these things are generally managed by ethics and compliance team. And that's how, a lot of these companies have been improving their perception towards, the suppliers also, that we do listen to you, right? Whenever you raise a concern, whenever we kind of, do a evaluation meeting, we expect you also to give feedback to us so that we can improve. These are the real supplier performance management or relationship management programs which are being practiced, right? This is more of a risk metrics. I'll not talk much about it. It says that if you see the likelihood of a risk related to compliance happening, please report it. And if it is coming from supplier, definitely do expect that you will be in trouble soon. So that's the red portion of it. Maybe these slides can be shared later for you to understand. I don't have much time, but again, it's the whole ecosystem has to collaborate with each other. You have to help the supplier also to kind of get visibility to what you guys are doing as a part of procurement. One of the example I can give is that we have been using supplier portal for last 5 to 6 years now. I'm sure a lot of us do get queries from supplier, when will I get paid? And because supplier has already made the supply to you, they really need the payment. But how many times the strategic sourcing person actually have visibility towards what's the payment? You get a query, then you said, okay, let me ask AP. So you act as a bridge in between, right? So we solved this around 5 to 6 years back, wherein we created an in-house tool. We connected it with our ERP or the finance ERP, Oracle. And we told suppliers, you don't have to come to anyone. Whenever you have submitted an invoice, punch in your invoice number, invoice value, date, and purchase order number, and here is the portal for you. I can tell you we don't get any such queries. There have been almost 5 years, the number of queries have been minimal. Suppliers, most of the suppliers are aware that they can do a self-service model, right? This is how we have been helping suppliers also to, get, I would say, visibility towards it, right? Then certain regulations, I would say, when you are talking about ethical sourcing, yes, there are some global standards, there are internal resources, there are external resources which one should go about. Some of the global standards definitely are, as I said, UK and Australian modern slavery laws are heavily, I would say, regulated, well-governed models in these countries. EU due diligence directive that came almost a couple of years back, and in fact, I'm not an expert on this, but what I heard one of the big 4 consultants telling me in one of the forums, saying their regulation says that whatever product you are manufacturing, if it is coming from a tree, sorry, we will not be buying it in future, right? Think of the scenario. What will manufacturers do who are actually using tree to cut wood and use that either in a burner, in a furnace, or the actual product is a wood product? Think of such regulation coming. What will be the alternate? One knows, right? So these are becoming very stringent laws. Then I would say again, there are tools and resources which are available. I spoke about the benchmarking tools like EcoVadis, Refinitiv, which gives you your EHA score. There are a lot of tools around supply chain visibility, also blockchain based. You can track what is happening, and you actually need supplier as a part of that, so that they also feel confident that they are part of this whole system. Supplier portal, as I said, is a part of the collaborative platform for supplier also. You give full visibility to them, and then definitely internally we all have ethics and compliance trainings, regulations. These are some of the tools which are available in most of the organizations, which tell you what is ethical sourcing and how to practice that. So great. I mean, in terms of the summary, I would say ethical procurement, definitely we are the custodians of it. We have to ensure whatever is written in the law of the land, company's code of conduct, supplier code of conduct, our own integrity, we have to bring this to the table. We should not create a scenario to just bypass things and cut short things as a part of expediting certain thing, right? So if we are following that, definitely we are driving ethical sourcing, and things definitely will be very different as we kind of see the months and years to come. So that was all. Any questions anyone has? Okay, sorry. Yeah, Deepa, sorry, go ahead. Shelly.
Thank you, Brish. I believe that is a very insightful session. You mentioned about the orchestrating tool in your organization that is built by Uber, or there are companies who provide these services. If you can just throw some light on them.
So we are evaluating the tool. I am aware of it. This tool actually exists in the market for last 4+ years. Again, some companies who developed it, it took time for people to understand what this tool is. But today, if I talk about, there are companies who are piloting it. The largest, again, I'm not favoring any brand here, Zip is the largest one. And why Zip has become so popular? Zip is, and I'm sure the technology solution providers would know Zip very well. This is the company which has got the highest funding in the sourcing or procurement tool space, right? It's a 20 years old company. They tried, creating procurement front door AI, but again, they were, at least I see them ahead of time, right? They had this orchestration tool almost 3 years back. They were telling people do this, but no, people were not kind of listening. But for the last 1 year, people have been piloting it. So Zip is one, but there are a lot of other tools which have come up. Even some of the local companies in India, they are doing it now. Fair Market is another tool. Globality is another tool. They all are the tools which actually are procurement orchestration. The beauty of these tools is they can collaborate with any kind of system in an organization. Even if you say I have a Google Drive and my contacts are there, it can connect there also. Yes, there will be limitations, but it can connect, right? So they have built a beautiful technology to solve these things.
Oh, great, thank you for that, because I believe that's the need of an hour as well. Like to understand where exactly is an issue, pinpoint it, correct it, move forward. So it saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other question anyone has? No. All right. So in case later also, if you have any question, please do ping me on LinkedIn. Very, very active on LinkedIn. So happy to support, answer. Yeah.
Okay, so please be on the dais. We have a small token of appreciation as well. And Shelly ma'am, can we have you on the dais, please? We would like you to appreciate, sir.
So I met Shelly for the first time today, almost an hour back, and we could find a common connection. So one of our ex-colleagues is my team member now. Thank you. Thank you.